The parallels between Maira Scott and Abby Steiner are hard not to notice. The two young athletes share a lot of similarities. From sharing the same address on the map to their love of the sport, Abby and Maira are considered Ohio's pride. And like Abby, Maira Scott is proving to be an exemplary athlete. That said, it is not at all surprising that people are convinced that Maira Scott will be the next Abby Steiner. Those are big shoes to fill, and the pressure is undeniably high, but it appears that she's up for the challenge. Notably, both Abby and Maira are Ohioans whose high schools are separated by 115 miles. Like Steiner, Scott grew up as a two-sport athlete. She cheered and ran track. It wasn't until the 9th grade that she turned more attention to track. It was then that she and her mother, Megan, began a quest to become better. Through research, they became aware of Steiner, and soon, Maira began to take note of her achievements and became a huge fan. Looking up to Steiner, Maira began to train hard and ran harder on the track. Reaping the fruit of her hard work, she was hailed Athlete of the Week in mid-May.
Maira Scott, she's a junior at Springfield who recently accomplished something never before done.
During the Northern Lakes League Championship, the Springfield High School junior accomplished the unthinkable, a three-peat sweep of sprints.
Not everybody, we can have good days and off days, but going into the season, I know what I'm capable of.
According to head coach Michael Campbell, the Blue Devil Speedster is the first runner in NLL history to win the 100, 200, and 400 meter races for 3 consecutive seasons. Not only that, Maira,
she broke decade-and-a-half-long records in the process for all 3.
Her times of 11.78 seconds in the 100-meter race and 23.82 seconds in the 200-meter race knocked off the previous marks held since 2007. A quick 55.36 seconds during the 400-meter run set a new league standard that had been chased since 2008. Then, at the Northwest Ohio Division I District Championships, Scott continued her history-making run with 2 more record-breaking performances. An 11.69-second sprint in the 100-meter dash surpassed a mark that had been held since 1987, while 23.49 seconds in the 200-meter dash broke the 2007 record. And so, befittingly, Maira Scott is WTOL 11's Athlete of the Week, presented by Dave's Running. She has come so far from when she first found out about Abby Steiner. It was then that Maira went all in with trying to improve. She changed her diet, got acupuncture, and started to lift weights. Before long, she won the Indoor State 200-meter championship as a sophomore. From there, she had her fair share of wins and losses, but she continued to strive to be the best. And to be the best, she has to make the right decisions even at a young age. On that note, when Maira Scott was on her recruiting visit to the University of Southern California, there was a specific moment that made her realize she was in the right place. Scott was on the USC practice field at the track with other recruits on top of a podium-like structure. All of a sudden, the Trojans marching band came out and played the school's iconic Fight On Fight song. Even for Scott, a lifelong Ohio State fan, it quite literally struck a chord. "We stood on top there and they did their fight song," Scott recalled. "Right then and there, I knew that this is where I belong, and it just felt so right. I just took that chance, and that's where I'm going." So, a few days ago, Scott made her commitment to USC official by signing her national letter of intent at Springfield High School. It is worth noting that before she decided to sign with UFC, her list was down to Ohio State, Tennessee, Southern California, Michigan, and Texas Christian. Ultimately, she decided to go with USC. From the very beginning, I knew it was going to be a tough pick because Ohio State has always been my dream school. But when I first visited Southern California, it was like a dream to me. Scott said, "Everybody there was amazing and it felt like a family. I felt like I belonged even just being there for a few days. It was a hard decision to make, but not really." Scott is notably one of the most decorated athletes to attend Springfield. She is a 3-time Northern Lakes League champion in the 100, 200, and 400. She is a 3-time state qualifier in the 200 and 2-time state qualifier in the 1 and 400. What's more, Scott is the Springfield record holder in all 3 sprint events, the district record holder in the 100 and 200, and the regional record holder in the 100. She holds the second fastest all-time finishes in the 100 with 11.41 seconds and 200 with 23.20 seconds at the state level. That remarkable list of accolades could continue to grow, as Scott still has her senior season coming up this spring to accomplish even more before she attends USC, and there's still 2 monumental seasons ahead. As can be expected, she will be eyeing up a few things as she closes off her high school career. Those are the indoor titles she didn't win a year ago, in addition to the state records of 7.36 in the 60-meter and 23.51 in the 200-meter, both owned by Steiner. Outdoors, there are 2 more titles up for grabs in the 100-meter and 200-meter, which are also owned by Steiner. Because of this, it was inevitable that comparisons have been made between the two, perhaps shortly after Scott had a breathtaking performance at the state championships last June. It was then that she saw all of her hard work materialize in the state's biggest prize, 2 outdoor state titles in the 100 and 200 meter races. Scott ran 11.42 seconds in the final of the 100 meter and 23.20 in the 200 meter, both wind legal times. Those were incredible performances for various reasons. Not only were they tops in state for the 2023 season, but Scott was only 0.03 of a second shy of Abby Steiner's record in the 100 meter, 11.38, and 0.47 seconds shy of her mark in the 200 meter, 22.73. As I said, it was a product of her hard work, as she achieved this feat after commuting from the Toledo area every week to the middle of the state to work with Tremaine Peppers, the head coach of the Ohio Heat Club program. Unsurprisingly, Peppers only had good things to say about the young athlete. "She's one of those kids," Peppers said. "I think she'll run 11.2 this year, but I also think she'll break the state record in the 200 meter." Even Michael Campbell, Springfield's track and field coach, recognized talent when he saw one. "As a freshman, I knew she had talent, so I just started throwing her in different events," Campbell said, "and I was like, oh, I didn't know you had that much talent." For Maira, it's all about hard work, talent, and the right mindset. "You put your heart and soul into what you love," Scott told Miles Split recently. "That's doing what you think you can do." Scott is aware that she's being compared to Steiner, and she embraces some of those pressures. "A big part of why I fell in love with track and field was because of her," Scott said. "I want to do Abby Steiner things. It's not being just like her, but doing amazing things like her." Peppers agreed with that statement. "I do love the comparisons in terms of what Abby Steiner meant to track and field in Ohio," he said. "She was one of the top kids in the country. She was an inspiration to a lot of kids after her. But Maira, I believe she has a chance to be as good as Abby. She will do great things." Speaking of which, watch Noah Lyles do great things.